Each morning we are born again. What we do today is what matters the most, as said by Gautam Buddha. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Avenue 2021, a global virtual career guidance program launched by Indian School Al Wadi Al Kabir under the aegis of the Board of Directors of Indian Schools in Oman. On behalf of Indian School Al Wadi Al Kabir, we, Lyle of Class 11 and Tarnjot of Class 9 from Indian School Wadi Kabir, take the proud privilege of expressing our profound gratitude to His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq Al Said for the altruistic and noble benevolence showered on the Indian mass exodus in the Sultanate of Oman. We, the Indian expatriates, are fortunate indeed to enjoy a world class quality of life in a country that is modern, peaceful, and full of natural beauty.
May the Almighty shower His choicest blessings on His Majesty, and may this nation experience peace and perpetual prosperity. It is for the very first time that we go global. Therefore, this event is of paramount importance. Through Avenue 2021, students converge not only from the local Indian schools in the Sultanate of Oman, but also from other school boards such as CBSE, ICSE, IGCSE, and IB, spanning across the MENA regions and countries across Southeast Asia.
A sincere thanks to dignitaries from the Ministry of Education, officials from the Indian Embassy, Dr. Shivakumar Manikam, Honorable Chairman, Board of Directors, and other esteemed members of the Board of Directors, distinguished officials from CBSE, officials from the Indian Embassy, Mr. Alkesh Joshi, President, Indian School Wadi Kabir Management Committee, and other esteemed members of the committee, presidents of all the participating school managing committees, principals, vice principals, heads of various departments, coordinators, and the entire teaching community of all the Indian schools in the Sultanate of Oman.
A very warm welcome to all present here virtually with this session on day 7 of Avenue 2021, which is set to be a 9-day global career guidance program. Day 7 reflects intrapersonal intelligence, which is related to self-awareness and the ability to recognize one's strengths and weaknesses. Students having a high quotient of this intelligence can excel as researchers, philosophers, counselors, and therapists. Thank you one and all once again for your gracious presence here.
It is with sheer joy and great pride that I take the task of introducing our guest speaker today. He is an IAS officer and author of the novel Pluton's Spire. He has won several accolades for his exemplary administrative service in different sectors. With great honor and pride, I welcome Dr. Nitin Kulkarni. Over to you, sir.
Good evening. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
I hope audio is absolutely clear.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. First of all, I must thank Indian School Al Kabir Wadi that they have organized this mega event where there is a chance for students not only from the Indian subcontinent but entire Southeast Asia. They are able to interact with each other and take a view about the educational systems and the opportunities available to these students. And I come from Indian Administrative Service. That is, as you may be aware, that it is the most premier service of this country, which runs the administration of the country. You can say that it is a public service, and IAS officers, that's what we are called generally, are the makers of the policy, as well as they execute the policies and ensure that the benefits of the government schemes reach to the last person and the last mile of the country. Friends, I have taken the onerous task of speaking to you about career orientation and some life skills. You are I suppose that most of you are completing your school education, either just you are completed or you will be completing very soon. And so you are on that sort of a tipping point where you will be deciding and choosing your career paths. Now, when we talk of career orientation, what actually we mean is that you are looking at the position for the future, where you want to be when you grow up, maybe 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line. What are you looking at and at what time horizon? You must be aware about it, number one. And number two, your tasks, your direction, and the decisions which you take right now will determine whether you will be able to achieve that goals or you will deviate from it or you may fall short of it or like that. Now, we must understand that today's world is very different world from maybe what it was even 10 years ago. Today it is very difficult to make the choice. You have, you can say, absolutely n number of choice and options when it comes to choosing your career paths. There was a time when career paths were considered as a very narrow type of options, particularly, at least I can tell you in Indian context, that becoming a doctor, becoming an engineer or architect, and like that, they were the main goals of most of the students, but no more. Now we have so many choices that it is in fact difficult at times to even choose the right one. Information overload is another problem which this generation is facing. You see that while knowledge is good, information is good, but too much of information and too much of choices will always cripple your thinking. And at the same time, you will find that your thought process get paralyzed. Like suppose you enter a restaurant and there are 15 different types of pizza. You won't be able to select which one you are ready to eat. Very few of us are that confident to make even the choice of pizza, leave apart choosing the career. So this extra choices and extra information has further complicated the case as far as present generation is concerned. But you have to find out what appeals to you the most. And that is very easy to do. It depends on your passions, on your likings, on your priorities in life, also your family priorities at times. So you have to create a sort of, I can say, a basket of choices. From there, you can shortlist few of them and maybe select one or two of them as your final destination. But not all the choices you make at this point of time shall be final, because your choices, your priorities, your mindsets will keep on changing, and not only changing, it will keep on evolving also with the changing times and as you grow up. Maybe when you join a particular course or you decide a particular line, once you are through it, you understand that there are better options, or maybe there are some better versions, or maybe you can have a upgraded version of the same. Maybe you can try a new avenues in a different countries, and then your priorities and your choices will vary and they will change. So you have to be flexible as far as these options are concerned. You cannot say that since this is my fixed type of career option, I will just stick to it come what may. It may not happen in all the cases. It will happen only if you are choosing your hobby. Like suppose you are a musician, you are a singer, then maybe, or you are a painter. I find that you had a very good 9-day event and you have arranged it in the name of 9 gemstones, Navaratna gemstones you have called. And I found that you have explored various options for the students in health and fitness, then naturalistic sciences, data analytics, data sciences, mathematics, and spatial intelligence, musical field, and administration, and so on and so forth. I think student must have got so much of inputs out of these that now again this must have further added to some confusion in their minds. So please don't get confused about it. These are all arranged to give you a glimpse, or you can say a snapshot of what all is possible in these fields. It's not necessary that you will follow each of them to verbatim, because finally all of us are unique in the sense that you lead your life, I lead my life. Just because I did something or some X person did something, you should not be imitating someone. You should always try to find out whether it is to your liking or not. Because it may happen that you may not become a successful musician or a successful cricketer just because someone else made it. So you must be able to have that continuous habit of learning, earning, and exercising. If you are able to do these three things, I think you will be able to find out your true passion and true likings very soon. Because finally, what we end up is the result of the choices you are making today and maybe in coming days. Today's life is dominated by technology. It has made our life simple, but at the same time, very complicated in some aspects. And to sail through this maze of technology and information and pressures, we need to have certain life skills. If you don't develop a good life skills, it's very difficult to have a successful life, if you can say so. To me, a life is successful if you are happy about it, if you are content about
Sir, you're not audible.
So we can't hear you, sir.
Is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Oh, sorry. These are the, you can say, technological issues which we face when we are communicating. And these are the noise of communication which we normally have to handle in this era of pandemics. Just imagine the situation where we could have had a direct one-to-one interaction, but instead of that, we have to be satisfied with this virtual communication. So I was trying to tell you something about life skills. I think if you understand life skills, which are most important parts to live everyday life, you can say if you go in a standard definition, it's a very complicated type of definition, but these are basically psychological competencies and interpersonal behaviors which sought to solve your problems, have some critical thinking, some developing some healthy relationship. They come in various categories, some of individual categories, some are of social categories, some are in decision making category. But if you just put some basic life skills, I can list that at least communication, having the proper communication is the most crucial, because if you're not able to communicate coherently and crisply with the other person, you can never become a successful person in life, in any career or in any field you can choose. When we say communication, it's a communication as a whole. As we are aware that when we speak, it is only 7% of the communication takes place through our verbal communication. Rest 93% is taking through some non-verbal cues, either your body language or your way of speaking, how you are delivering the words. Consider this fact: if communication forms a major basis for your personality as well as for anything you do in life. The second life skill I would like to say is about empathy. Empathy, kindness, similar is connected with gratitude. Some people have great ability of critical thinking, problem solving attitudes. And most important for today's younger generation is coping with their emotions and the stresses associated with daily life. You find that today's young children, particularly the teenagers, they are very vulnerable to social pressures and to the peers pressure. That results in very stressful lives, and we have lots of cases where young lives are terminated midway when they go for an extreme step of suicides. And schools have a great role to play to develop this mental resilience among his students. While parents have definite role, but schools also have a great role to play. And I'm confident that the schools that people are associated with are taking good care of a personality development part of a student rather than only the academic part of it. Schools will develop your IQ, what you call as intelligence quotient, and your certificate, your degrees, they are always there. But what society today requires is EQ, emotional quotient. And unfortunately, not all of us are at par when it comes to emotional quotient. We are lacking somewhere, and that is creating tensions in our personal lives as well as in our social lives. In fact, if you track the trajectory of the successful people, you will find that only people who are high in emotional quotient, they are more successful than people who just are highly intelligent, because intelligence can prove your knowledge, but EQ determines your behavior, your relationships. And finally, as we all know, that it is the relationships, it is the interpersonal communication which matters the most when we come to success in life. Mind you, leadership is not only about positions and power, but it is about the influence which one personality creates on the others. So that is the most crucial part of any leadership. If you want to be a leader, if you can take any field, you can choose any career, but you have to do your best. If you are the best, you will always be required and people will always be wanting to be with you. Today we are looking at a very extreme stage, as Steve Jobs had rightly said that this coming era will be combination of technology and biology. It opens a further new areas and to explore for this new generation. As a member of Indian Public Service, I can just tell you that this is one of the very great career option as far as young students are concerned, young graduates are concerned. You have to, there is a competitive exam which is conducted by the Union Public Service Commission of the country, which is an autonomous body, and it goes through a very rigorous type of selection process. And after that, these people get selected who run this country, you can say, or run the government of this country. I can only tell you that after completing so many years in this service, that it is the most rewarding job I can ever have dreamed in my life. Being an MBBS doctor, I was always had that public service attitude, but coming and sitting in this administrative position has further increased it. And now I really feel grateful that I chose this career and get the chance to serve the people, reach the last mile of the society and try to help the poor, and particularly the people who are living in below the poverty line, as we call, to a large extent. The countries which you people are representing may not have this problem to a large extent, but as far as India is concerned, yes, we still have a great rural population, just trying to make up 2 square meals a day in a comfortable manner. And government is taking all the steps to ensure that all the social sector benefits are extended to all this, to this entire lot of people. And I'm very happy to be the part of this system. To all the young friends, I can only say that try to develop your life skills, try to develop your career goals right now, learn to take responsibility of all your actions. While enjoyment and some temporary joys can give you temporary pleasure, but a long-term joys and pleasures will only come when you develop yourself as a very confident and responsible citizen of whichever country you belong to or whichever country you want to settle down. So I hope that this exposition to these various career options will help you to choose your right career path, and you will be able to be a very important citizens or a global citizens of this universe. So with that, I conclude my remarks and I will be open to questions if any. Thank you.
That was an extraordinary and inspiring session, sir. Now, you would like to request our most honored speaker, Dr. Nitin Kulkarni, to kindly attend the Q&A session where the audience would like to clarify their doubts and concerns. Let me now invite our moderator of the session to share with you the questions raised by our valued audience.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
It was truly an inspiring session that you gave us. There are certain questions that the students have put forward. The first one is, what was your motivation to go for IAS?
To tell you the short story, I can say that when we passed MBBS degree, we were supposed to serve for a rural area internship for about 6 months. And that was the first time when I had the chance to interact with what is called as the institution of district collector. And as you know, the districts in India are run by the person called as district collector. He's the chief administrator of the district. And he was the person who was going to determine where our postings in the particular district were going to be. And when we went to that massive office, and I found that suddenly a car came and a person walked out of it, I think that was the one thing which I found suddenly that yes, this is the thing, and this is the way you can actually influence the lives of the people. And if you have that feeling to actually influence the lives of the people, where you can deliver and as well as touch people, I think this is the only job as far as India is concerned. So that was the major motivation, that to be connected with the public. And I had great opportunity to serve in the state of Jharkhand, which is very tribal dominated state. And I am an MBBS doctor, and as luck would have it, I was heading the health department of the state in the entire COVID pandemic. So it was a great working opportunity that way also. And my medical knowledge came to a great help when we handled the COVID pandemic.
Thank you, sir. Another question was, can you please explain your struggles as, you said you're a doctor, an MBBS doctor, and when you were preparing for IAS, what were the struggles that you faced while you were, study-wise, when you were preparing for it, for both of them?
See, as I told you, this exam, there is an exam. It's a 3-tier exam. You have a sort of a first exam, which is called as prelims, followed by a second exam, which is called as mains, and followed by personal interview. And it's the 3 exams have 3 different patterns. While the prelims is a MCQ based questions, we have to solve 100 questions in 2 hours time, and with a negative marking, obviously. And then there is a mains, where you have theoretical questions, where there are explanatory descriptive questions. You are supposed to answer it, analyze the questions and answer it in a prescribed word limits. And obviously there is a personal interview of about 30 to 45 minutes taken by a panel of about 5 to 6 people, and who drill you through various situations. So preparing, and if you ask me that way, there is a syllabus obviously written on paper, but actual syllabus is anything on the earth or even beyond the earth. So, and when I passed out in 95, 96, we did not have that. It was not an internet era. And so getting hold of books, then getting hold of information as is available to this today's generation was real challenge. But we used to listen to the news, then have a daily newspaper readings, then we'll go to the government libraries and find out what are the new publications of the government to understand the schemes and their impacts. And that way we had to work quite a bit hard. But if you analyze today's situation, it has become exactly opposite. When people go for preparation, they are served with such a huge display of books and materials that they are not able to decide which one is right for them, number one, and which one is better material compared to others. And I think this plethora of information is creating lots of confusion for people. But yes, that struggle still reminds, one is always reminded, because access to books and getting those books in time, because you had to get it either through a small couriers which were operational or through a postal department. That was a major challenge. And but yes, we use lots of libraries, and I never took any coaching for this. Now there is a great competition among the students to join one coaching or other, but I never took any coaching for this particular exam at least. And I did my self study and cleared it in first attempt itself. So that was a good achievement, you can say.
Wow, sir. And the last question is, any tip you would like to give the students who are aspiring to become IAS officers?
See, first is that you have to make up your mind whether you want to go through this grueling 1 year exam or not, because it takes a lot of toll on your many other activities. At my time, I was lucky in the sense that I did not have access to social media and there was no social media. But now you have lots of pressures, and if you go through the recent examination of 2021 and go through the experiences of the people who have cleared it, the first thing they have said that they have stopped all the social media for last 1 year or 2 years or something like that. So I think that's distraction part has to be taken care of, because this requires a lot of committed effort, number one. Number two, it also requires a very vast type of study. As I told you, this basically anything under the sun is the syllabus. So what you read, how much time you devote to each topic, how much you try to analyze the situation, how better you are able to catch the grasp the subject. These are the factors which determine whether you will be able to succeed or not. Another important issue is that while one can take up to 4 to 6 attempts depending on some category reservations, but it depends how long are you going to play this game. Like, there are many people who clear the exam in fourth attempt, fifth attempt, but it also requires lots of resources in the form of time and energy. Also, it requires support from your family. There are many cases where family support may be lacking. They may be expecting you to join some job to earn some livelihood for the family. So you have to fix your priorities and accordingly decide. And as the success rate, see, finally, total about 10 lakh people appear for the prelims, and only 2000 or 3000 odd make to the interview, and out of that final 750 get shortlisted for various services, and IAS being the first premier most of it. So if you want to get into IAS, you have to be actually in the first 70 or 80 of the list. So success probability, you can say, is a bit less. It's in fact very less. But given that the kind of rewards it offers at the end of it, I think that hard work is worth it. I can tell you from my own experience that the kind of gratitude you get from the people, even when you have left the places long back, it's worth to cherish.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much for answering all the queries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for all your relevant and patient answers. Dear audience, a gentle reminder to fill in the feedback form, the link of which has been posted in the chat box. Filling this form is necessary as it would fetch you a participation certificate. To those of you who have joined us through YouTube, are requested to check the description box for the link of the feedback form.
As we draw to an end of this great enriching session, I deem it my great privilege to propose the vote of thanks. Let me first express a profound gratitude to His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq Al Said for the magnanimous benevolence showered on the Indian diaspora in the Sultanate of Oman. May the Almighty shower abundant blessings on His Majesty and His country. We extend our sincere thanks to the eminent speaker, Dr. Nitin Kulkarni, for all his words of motivation. Thank you, sir. Our deepest sense of appreciation and gratitude to Dr. Sivakumar Manikam, Chairman, Board of Directors, Indian Schools in Oman, and other honorary directors on the Board of Directors, Indian Schools in Oman. Our sincere thanks to Mr. Alkesh Joshi, the President, Indian School Wadi Kabir Management Committee, and other members of the Management Committee for their profound encouragement at all times. I also wish to take this opportunity to express our heartfelt gratitude to our pillar of strength, Mr. D.N. Rao, Principal ISWK, Principals of the Indian Schools in Oman, Vice Principals, Assistant Vice Principals, Coordinators, Supervisors, and the entire teaching fraternity of all the Indian schools in the Sultanate of Oman for their support and guidance at all times.
We are indeed grateful to our platinum sponsor, StudyGo, gold sponsors, Jain University, Grey Matters Academics, Sri Ramchandra Institute of Higher Education, and Vellore Institute of Technology. Bronze sponsors, Middle East College, Thapar University, Dallas Baptist University, and MIT World Peace University, Pune. Our digital partner, Spectrum, media partner, The Arabian Stories, and our valued donors in making Avenir 2021 a tangible reality. I also wish to thank each and every student and parent for their valuable presence in making this session of Avenir 2021 a grand event. An event of this kind requires the coordination of a committed team. Thank you to my ISWK team working tirelessly behind the scenes in making this a grand event. Thank you all. Signing off are your compares, Taranjot and Lyre. The next session starts at 5:45, the details of which can be found on the Avenir website, aveniroman.com. Take care, buckle up for the next session, and have a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you.